John, welcome to the program today. And I almost want to throw you this because, we've been talking about the curveball, and COVID's been a huge curveball, hasn't it?
Well, it has been. In fact, very early on when we were first made aware of COVID, I think many of us thought it would only take 2 weeks and then we'd be in the clear.
So you actually thought that it would go that quick?
I did, because we even had previous viruses such as the SARS virus, even here in Toronto.
Yeah.
Or near here, and that lasted just a few weeks, and then with only a few people getting infected. Right?
So let's go back a little bit, and maybe you can answer all my pet peeves.
Yes.
How come we had so many different rules? I remember sanitizing your groceries when you walked in the door, and then there was that whole thing about you pretty much needed to leave all your clothes in the garage door and walk in, and I'm thinking, my goodness, I better make sure the garage door is closed or the neighbors are going to be scarred for life. Why such extreme stuff?
Well, and it's been annoying, hasn't it? It seems extreme, and it seems that the rules keep changing, and they keep changing by the day practically. And what was true yesterday, what we could do yesterday, we can't do today. Well, first of all, let's just say that there's a learning process along the way. Okay. And that's just the way science works. We keep changing on the fly as we learn more. And it doesn't mean that we didn't know what we were doing earlier. It just means we have to keep changing slightly along the way. And on top of that, the virus in this case progresses in a certain direction, and you need to keep redirecting it with slightly different rules.
Let me ask you a question, because this, I think, will help Canadians across the country. So you're part of a think tank. In BC, it's Dr. Bonnie Henry, who is the lead doctor.
That's right.
So
the provincial health officer.
Yeah,
actually.
provincial health officer. So what you were telling me before we came on air, that there's a lot of pushback going on. Is that a good thing, bad thing? What does that mean?
There's a lot of pushback going on from, just remember that when a plan is presented, there's no reason to think that plan is going to be 100% the right plan, right? Okay. So we have comfort in numbers. We have comfort in knowing that we have more than one person, 2 people, 10 people, 20 people looking at the same data set. And so the way it's done in this case, and the way all science is done, is we put up our favorite idea on the board, we present it to a group of people, and then we subject ourselves to people throwing darts at us. That's the way science works. In fact, even when I'm working with my own students on my own particular project, whatever that happens to be, I have a meeting with my students. Again, I present what my objective is and what my plan is and how I plan to execute it and everything. And then I ask them, please be as critical as possible. Criticize it. We don't criticize the person, we criticize the idea. And as soon as we can separate ourselves from taking it personally, then it actually works quite well, because people will find holes that we may not have seen. And it's better to find those holes early than it is to find those holes later, a year or two later, when it's too late.
Okay, so let's jump ahead now. We got this latest variant, the Omicron. Did I say it right?
Omicron, yes.
Omicron, okay.
Yes.
So this new variant, will the vaccinations that we've already received, or many people, the majority of Canadians, is it going to be effective? And do we need to be concerned?
We don't fully know the answer to that, to be fair. It seems that from what we know about that variant, the mutation on that variant that causes it to be highly, to spread very quickly, which is the worry here, is similar to the Delta variant. Okay. So, but to be fully immune to it based on our vaccinations and so on, there's a lot that comes into play with that, so we don't fully know. We expect that we probably will be. But again, in science, we just don't know. We're looking at a curve, we may be looking at another curveball.
So we're waiting to see what's going to happen.
We are.
Exactly. Yeah. So when it comes to COVID, when will COVID be over? There's
Well,
the ball.
it wasn't over in 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm afraid it's not going to be over in another 2 weeks.
Is it with us forever?
I think it's with us forever. We're just going to see, well, I mean, all the evidence suggests that it's going to be with us forever. It's a virus that keeps mutating. It's mutating at a very similar rate as the influenza virus. And we know what happens with the flu. Year after year after year, it's just a slightly different variant that shows up because of, again, these variants, this virus adapts.
Okay.
So we're going to be dealing with the same thing.
Interesting things. I want you to stay with us as Dr. Klironomos is going to continue to answer questions. Julie's going to bring her list of questions that I'm sure many of you have been thinking about as well as we cover the finer details of the history of these viruses.